Hi, I'm Yvette Conatser of plainspeakingministries, and today I want to let you know that God is faithful. Even when you are not faithful, He remains faithful. He remains true to Himself and true to you. He will answer. No matter how many times you turn away from Him, no matter how many times you mess up, maybe you pray to Him and ask Him for certain things, and then you immediately go to figuring it out all for yourself. And you immediately stop trusting Him. Maybe you want to improve. You know that you're doing these things, or you know you have this flaw, this character flaw, something you're doing that you know is sin, or you just want to improve. You want to grow stronger. You want to be that faithful person, that trusts God, that believes in God and just stands firm. You want to be that person, but time and time again, you find that you're just falling away. You get motivated today, tomorrow you just do whatever, and you turn away. But then you get motivated again and you talk to the Lord, and then you immediately fall into doing it yourself. I want you to know that if you will just keep your hope in the Lord, He will come through because He is faithful. His help for you is not based upon whether or not you are faithful to Him or whether or not you continue to look at Him, because He knows how to draw you. Right now, today, in this very second, God is working on your heart. He is retraining your heart to trust Him because He knows He is your hope. Even if you don't know it, even if you know it right now, but in an hour when things get hard, you don't know it. Just keep your hope in Him. He is going to build your trust in Him because He is ever faithful. We look at Abraham and it talks about Abraham. The Bible talks about Abraham being so faithful and how he didn't consider his body, especially when, we're going through some physical ailment. And I talk about it a lot because healing is just so important to me. We look at him and we read that scripture that says that Abraham considered not his body, now dead. But he had faith in God for the promise that God made for him to be the father of many nations when he couldn't have kids, when he didn't have any kids. We look at that. But what I like to look at in that story is how Abraham started out. God called him out of his country. He told him to leave everything behind. And what did Abraham do? He told him to leave everything behind. He told him to leave his family, friends, everything, and just go out basically on faith that He would lead him, because God didn't at that point tell him anything specifically and in detail from that, just called him out. Well, Abraham messed up right away. He messed up immediately. He took his nephew with him, and that caused a lot of later issues. But he basically didn't trust God. He didn't trust God's plan for his life. He didn't trust God to take care of Lot after Abraham left, so he took him with him. And that was against what God had told him to do. And over the course of, I don't know how long it was, but over the course of Abraham's journey, he lied, schemed, he did things his way. When he went to, he didn't trust that God would take care of him and Sarah. He lied to two kings about who she was. He lied and schemed along the way when he didn't trust God. But God was ever faithful. When Abraham messed up, when he didn't believe God, when he didn't trust God, when he disobeyed God, God didn't say, you know what, you screwed up. I'm gonna leave you here. Forget it. I changed my mind. God is not like that. He was ever faithful. He knew that maybe it would take many years for Abraham to get a clue. He knew that it would take a while for Abraham to fully trust Him and to have faith in Him. God didn't start out on day one basically dropping a child on Abraham and then asking Abraham to sacrifice him because he trusted him. He went through a long process of learning bit by bit how to trust God. And why did he learn that? Why was he able to learn to trust God so strongly that he didn't look at his own body? It's because God is faithful. God was faithful to train his heart to trust him. God was faithful. That is what you should remember today, that even if you ask God something 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and you still haven't seen that thing, if it is within his plan, God is going to bring it to pass. He will. And right now, if you could believe right now, he is working on you in the inside of your heart to help you to trust him, to help you to turn to him. You want to be stronger? Say you have some character flaw and you just want it to change and you keep going to God about it, but somehow you're not receiving or you're not believing. Maybe you keep turning back to that thing after you've talked to the Lord. Maybe there's a habit that you have that you're seeking God's help, but somehow you're not receiving deliverance. And maybe say you have that habit and you give it up today and you pick it up tomorrow, or you pick it up this hour and the next hour you put it down, and it's over and over and over, and you just keep seeing yourself fail and fail and fail, and you're just so frustrated. I want you to remember that God is faithful. He is right there with you in that struggle with you. And he knows the end. He knows at the end of that thing, you're going to lay it down. Why? Because he is training you in your heart to trust him that you can lay it down. So the day will come. You may not know when, but God knows. He knows, and he trusts that it's going to come, it will happen, and he knows that he is never, ever going to give up on you, no matter how many times you mess up. So don't focus on how you have messed up and how many times you have failed and how unfaithful you've been to God, how unfaithful you've been in trusting him and believing him. Think about how faithful he is to you. He'll never give up. He will always train your heart. In fact, he is training it right this second. Right this second, God is speaking some things to your heart and mind. He is speaking the truth. Even if you are convinced, contrary to the word and contrary to his desire, he knows how to bring you around to learning the truth. That's what the Bible means when it says you will know the truth. Let's pause right there. You will know the truth. How awesome is that? Not you might know the truth, you could know the truth, I don't know, No, you will know the truth. You may think some things that you believe right now are truth, and they are not. But God knows he's bringing you around. He's teaching you what truth is. And as he brings you around, you're getting freer and freer. And at some point, you lay that habit down because you'll know the truth, you'll believe the truth, and it will make you free. So be encouraged today. Know that God is faithful. Even when you are not faithful, God is faithful. And right now, today, right this instant, he is teaching you gently, little by little, to be faithful to him. He is the one that will teach you to be faithful in him. I like to concentrate on God's attributes and not my own. Where I'm missing it, I don't want to just look at that. I don't want to focus on where I'm missing it. I want to focus on him and how he never misses it. And he is able to always help me to triumph. And he is helping me right now. He's doing it right now. So if I'm messing up, if I have a habit that I'm trying to lay down, but I keep picking it up, and I talk to the Lord about it, and then I pick it up, and I look to him, and then I look back to me over and over again, you know what? I'm going to focus on Jesus. I'm going to focus on his perfection, because that's what God is looking at, his ability, his plan for you. He sees that end game. He sees that end result where you are strong, where you are walking like him, where you are talking like him, when you are like him. He is seeing that end, and he is taking you through the steps. He knows the steps. He knows the steps that you need to take to get to that end place. And so he's taking you through it. Focus on that. Focus on his faithfulness. He is faithful to take you through. And let that encourage your heart today. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We'd greatly appreciate it.